Hello, and welcome to the first episode of Sally Cat Plays, Exile, Escape from the Pit. Jeff Vogel's Exile is a classic indie game from the good old days of Mac gaming in the mid-90s, and it's one of the first series that I really fell in love with as a kid. Some of you might actually know it better as Avernum. The 3 games of the original Exile series have been remade not once, but twice with the Avernum title. First Avernum games came out in the early 2000s, and the remake came out in 2015. Yes, I like these games so much I have literally bought the same thing 3 times with these different versions. I regret nothing. The newest ones are actually really good. Should do yourself a solid and look them up on Steam or GOG.com later. But for now, we're here for original flavor. Let's fire it up. Make new party. I am going to start with a prefab party here just to get us rolling. But first, an introduction. The trial was completed, and the sentence was passed. There was no appeal. There was no need. It wasn't as if it was considered a terribly awful sentence anyway. After all, you had not committed one of the hard crimes. You were not thieves, or pirates, or murderers. Sentences for those offenses were harsh, and generally fatal. Hard miscreants inevitably died. No, your crime was one of not fitting in, of rebelling, or being peculiar in some way, or speaking out against the crown. And for those soft crimes, the punishment was considered just, appropriate, and, most of all, lenient. Well, at least it was considered lenient by those who fit in with society, those who got to live out the rest of their lives above ground. Living in the light of the sun, however, was a privilege that had just been stripped from you. All of you were taken to a portal, a one-way, permanent teleporter, and thrown in. You regain consciousness in a giant cave, completely unlike anything you have ever seen before. Green, luminescent fungus on the ceiling shows you how high the roof is. Hundreds of feet up. The cave goes on for what looks like miles in all directions. One of its nearby walls arcs up far above you, and in the other directions the cave goes on far beyond the range of your vision in this dim light. It is especially difficult to see things about the cave you are in, because you are indoors. As your eyes adjust, you see you are in a fort. Walls and buildings surround you, made of large blocks of basalt crudely mortared together. There are people, too. Thin, pale people going about their business. Most pay little attention to you, but one, a small man, watches you carefully from a little ways away. He seems to be here to greet you. Welcome to Exile. How long do you plan on staying? Alright, so that is the introduction. Basically, you play, or I play in this case, a band of convicts thrown into exile in a huge cave underground. And as you can see here, we are currently in Fort Exile. The narration mentioned a guy who looked like he wanted to talk to us, so let's say hey. Now, to talk to people, this game uses a text parser. Everyone responds to name, look, and job. Look being this little description that you get for everyone. So, you see a small man. He smiles at you nervously. His skin is incredibly pale in the strange light of the fungus. And who are you, sir? I am Andrew. On behalf of King Micah, not to mention your thousands of fellow inmates, I would like to welcome you to Exile. What's your gerb? I wait for new arrivals such as yourselves and welcome them. Alright, I suppose I feel welcomed. To ease the considerable shock of being cast into the underworld, of course. So, welcome to the underworld. He pauses to think. Also, I'm here to say where you can get information about Exile, and supplies. Ferrell is the town sage. He lives and works in a building to the southwest. He's a bit glum, but he does his job well. He will answer your questions as best he can. Of course, you should get supplies first. Fun thing is you really only need the first 4 characters of any word to get a response. To prevent certain problems, new arrivals are sent to Tor to get modest supplies. Woohoo! Free stuff! He's in the building to the south. We found doing otherwise results in desperate, dangerous, and violent new citizens. This way you'll have a fair chance. What you do with it when you leave is your business. So yeah, we will certainly find plenty of violent citizens and other creatures around here. Now, he had mentioned something about a King Micah. Okay, we're not going to find out any more of that. Why is this place called Exile? Yes, Exile. That's what we call this place. We're all exiles here, after all. Sort of makes sense. He smiles sadly. That's basically all the useful information we can get out of this guy. So, bye-bye. So you can see the graphics are, of course, pretty crude by today's standards. It's all top-down, everything is turn-based. Go into combat mode and show off our 6 characters here. John, Ariel, Samantha, Nathan, Allison, and Eric. Hello, old friends. So we've got our swords dude, a spear woman, ninja type. Not sure what Nathan is supposed to do, maybe another swords dude. Allison the mage, and Eric the healer. Yes, these are the same characters that I played with way back when. With an exception, this doesn't actually look all that much like it did when I first played it so many years ago. That is because this is Exile 2.0. When I was like 9-10 years old in 1995, I played the original old-ass 1.0.3. So let's go take a look at what it used to look like. Oh yeah, that's the stuff. I'm just putting this up to turn the sound off for now. But, yeah, while the version that we saw previous is what can be downloaded full game for free on Jeff Vogel's website, spiderwebsoftware.com, this one is surprisingly hard to find these days. Either you have to dig up an original copy on old-ass 90s disc, or what I did, use some Google Foo and find it on one of the Mac archive sites. So this time I'm actually going to create a character, show you how that all works. And we don't need to read the introduction again. Welcome to Exile. Press the button to start making your party. Yay. Okay. I guess I will choose the name later. But I'm going to roll up someone with some magic ability, which means they will need at least decent intelligence in order to cast all of these spells. Say 3 strength gives us... At least it doesn't give us a penalty when gaining health on levels. A little bit of dex so that maybe we can dodge hits. Ability to use sword, and it's worth pointing out that each skill here has a cost in both skill points and gold. The gold is irrelevant when you're first making a character. It does become much more relevant when you start training them in-game. And so you have to balance how many skill points you put into magic abilities, main stats, weapon skills, other things. And for a brief rundown, health and magic points should be pretty obvious. Strength is how much you can carry, how hard you hit. It impacts how much health you gain upon leveling up. Dex is how likely you are to hit and how likely monsters are to hit you. Intelligence impacts your amount of magic points and your ability for spellcasting. Edged weapons is ability with swords and axes, bashing with clubs and maces, pole weapons with spears. Thrown, from what I remember, is really pretty useless in this game. Thrown weapons are not that common and they do really crap damage, so I never put much into it. Archery, on the other hand, I do like. It hits pretty reliably, and it's often good to be able to have at least a couple characters able to hit monsters or other enemies at range. so you don't have to go all up in their face and risk getting stomped. Defense, I believe, lowers encumbrance from heavy armor and probably helps you to get hit less often. Mage spells are very good for doing damage and damage to enemies and buffs to party members. Priest spells are primarily focused on healing and buffs, but they get a couple good damage spells as well. Mage lore helps with learning new spells and maybe some other stuff. Alchemy has about one major use in this game. It is the mechanic by which you can make your own potions. Item lore helps you identify items in the field. Disarm traps and lockpicking are very useful for getting through dungeons. Assassination helps you do extra damage when hitting an enemy. Poison use is another one that I never put a whole lot of points into. It allows you to poison your weapons for extra damage, but there's a mage spell that does the same thing more reliably. Luck is a very fun stat, and I'm kind of annoyed now that I don't have enough points to put anything in there. Maybe if I take out some of my sword skills. There. Now I've got 1 point in luck. Okay, choose PC graphic. I've always liked this one with the brown dress. Sally Cat. We'll keep it just simple for now. So you can see the layout is pretty much the same as what we saw in the previous version. Here's Andrew. Hi, Andrew. There's also a little special icon here. So I know that Jeff Vogel had good reasons for redoing the graphics. I'm sure he likes the newer versions better. In fact, he probably hates all the versions of Exile because he's on the second Avernum now. But I don't know, I just really like the simpler graphical style of these, and it's what I played originally when I was growing up, so I have a nostalgic fondness for it. Anyway, let's step on this special. The portal from the surface world is still here, glowing brightly. You try to approach, but strange waves of force push you back. You can't even get close. Clearly, if you're going to escape from this pit, it won't be through here. So yes, as the title of this game would suggest, one of your goals is, in fact, to escape the pit to which you have been exiled. If you have less than 6 characters, it also gives you the option of creating another PC. Not going to do that right now. So if we remember that Andrew told us Tor to the south will give us some supplies. That is a storeroom. Yeah, there's a sign on this wall. Let's take a look. Outfitting. New arrivals, please enter. Don't mind if I do. And talk. Sitting behind the counter is a tall man wearing bronze armor. Behind him is a large rack of crude stone weapons. Aw yeah, give me a weapon. He looks back at them in disdain. Pretty crude work, huh? Metal is rare down here. Tools to work it, rarer still. And magic? Good luck. I am Tor, weapons handler of Fort Exile. Well, sometimes I maintain the weapons of the guards. Sometimes I guard travelers going to Silvar, but mostly I give supplies to newcomers. Silvar, what's that? The town to the west. You should ask Ferrell about it. He lives down the road to the west. Take the first left, he lives on the right. Well, alright then. How about those supplies? Ah, yes. He hands you food, a pouch of money, and some crude weapons. Here you are. Good luck. Okay, awesome. You see now we've got 100 gold and 60 food. Food is very important. Every so many turns, you will eat a unit of food for every character in your party. If you have no food, you will starve, take damage, and can eventually die. He's good to avoid. Oh, hello, who are you? You see a middle-aged woman who seems to be in a big hurry. Like everyone else you've met, she is extremely pale. She grins. I'm Janice, dear. You can call me Jan if you want. I'm in charge of supplies for the fort. I thought that was Tor. Well, I guess he gives supplies out to newbies, and she manages everybody else. The soldiers, they cook on their own, and I'm the one they go to for the food. And weapons. And clothes. It's tedious work, but it keeps me busy as long as Ferrell is stationed out here. She's the third person to mention Ferrell. She sighs mightily. My husband, the sage. He helps the new arrivals get acclimated. Being out here depresses him terribly, being at the border and all. Border? Between the humans and the Nephilim. He's convinced they'll storm the fort any day now. Who knows, he may be right. You'd best ask Ferrell about that. Okay. One other thing about the NPCs in this game is if you ask them about something they don't have a response for, they'll give you a stock I don't know answer. Oh, this looks like a library-type place, and I bet you are Ferrell the Sage. Yup. You see a slender, worried-looking man wearing impeccably pressed wizard's robes. He sits behind a book-laden desk. Books, I like books. He doesn't know about books. Sure. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Ferrell. I am the sage for Fort Exile. The corner of his mouth twitches slightly. I'm here to help you. Okay, what does a sage do? He doesn't know what he does. Ah, poor guy must be having a bad day indeed. Okay, help. Well, every day or so our benevolent overlords above hurl a few more souls into the hellish cesspit. Then they come to me, and I tell them just how bad things are here. He chuckles dryly. Normally I'd be cheery, but today I'm just not in the mood. Anyway, I'm here to give information. Yes, for example, on our lovely neighbors, the Nephilim and the Slithzerakai. Or on the nearby towns. Or on your chances for escape. Or on how you get supplies. Got that already? Or on the local politics. The Nephilim you've heard of. There are many of them above ground. But you've never heard of Slithzerakai. So yeah, in story, your character or characters do know about Nephilim. For those of you who've never played before, they are a race of cat people. We'll meet them soon enough. The doom of all of us if the Sliths don't get us first. Lots of them have been sent down here along with the humans. Many migrate to lower caverns, but many more stay here, determined to take our land. A large tribe of them lives to the north. They don't arrive at Fort Exile, by the way. They teleport in somewhere else. What the heck are the Sliths? Lizard men. Only live below ground. Intelligent, powerful fighters. Very magically talented. We've been at war with them for years, and lately things have been at a stalemate. They live to the west. Okay, and what other stuff could I ask you about? Oh yeah, towns, escape, and politics. Dovno is to the north. It's a farming community, ravaged by Nephilim raids. You'd have better luck at Silvar, to the west. It's the largest settlement nearby. Help Dovno if you ever can. If it falls, this fort is the next to go. Okay, politics. Each town has a mayor. The mayors form a council. The council co-rules with King Micah, lord of our homey little pit. Micah lives in the Great Cave. To get there, go a ways south and a ways west. By the way, the council meets in the castle. It's a place you should know about. Castle? It's our pride and joy. We built a real castle of rocks, crude magic, and spit. King Micah lives there, orchestrating our desperate defenses. You should see it. It's reasonably impressive. It's in the Great Cave to the southwest. It is also a long-ass hike away, so we won't be seeing it anytime soon. Okay, and one last thing, escape. No chance. None whatsoever. We all stay down here until monsters hunt us down like dogs. Oh, that sounds wonderful. Monsters. Yeah, he's not going to tell us anything more specific about anything else. So, we're down here. But we can explore a bit more of the fort. If you're ever worried about getting lost, you can go into the icons down here and pull up the auto map, which maps out where you've been. So we've seen about half the fort. The other icons down here are cast mage spell, cast priest spell, look, talk, get. The four little ones here, let's see, kick down a door, do alchemy, Okay, that's pick lock. And map, and this one is go into combat mode. Which doesn't make a whole lot of difference for a single player party. Again, there's mage spells, priest spells, look, then defend, get items, wait, fire missile, end combat, act, I think, doesn't really come into play unless you have already selected defense or wait. Anyway. Another storeroom. Joy. Storage. There are also keyboard equivalents for most of these commands. Let's talk to the guards. You see a guard. Hello, generic guard. What is your generic name? I am Gunther. Bringing doom to anyone I am told to bring doom to. I don't know about that. Yeah, in order to save on work, all the guards have the exact same responses to name and job and everything else. So, those are the Gunthers. Hello. You see a shy, frail woman picking mushrooms. Who are you that just got in my way? I'm Diane. Well, I'm Tor's wife, but that's not what I do. I cook, mainly. A couple times a week, I cook meals for everyone here. I'm actually a very good musician, but there's not much call for that around the fort. Oh well, we won't be here forever. She sings a song for you, which you've never heard before. It's long and sad, about life in caves and missing the sun above. She has a beautiful voice. Okay, so not much in this corner, just a little watering hole. Also, these strange-looking brown things are trees. Way back when I was a wee Sally kitten, I was easily confused by some of these graphics and I thought those were monsters and tried to attack them. It took a little while to learn the mechanics of this game. You see a worn and scarred middle-aged man. He carries a potted plant and a shovel. I'm Dunbar. I'm the groundskeeper, and gardener, and fix-it man. I like gardening best, but I do what they need. Yeah, we've bred some pretty weird plants down here. Told you the trees looked weird. All sorts of mushrooms for food and fodder. Those weird twisted trees for what little wood we have. And so on. Mages make the plants, I grow them. Yeah, they live in a tower to the south or something. All the wizards go there. They do all the standard weird stuff with demons and such. But they make plants, too. Without them, we'd all be dead. Ooh, that sounds like a place I want to go. Little garbage pit over here. Barracks. Yeah, barracks are usually not terribly interesting. They're filled with the generic, interchangeable soldiers. Hi there, Gunther. Why'd you gunt my fries? Signs are useful. Well-maintained sign says, passed through portal. 117,832. That's kind of a lot of prisoners. That's like a decent-sized town's worth of people. And that's speaking in modern terms. In the more medieval-style time period we're clearly working with. Who knows? So before we leave the fort, let's go ahead and equip a couple of items so we don't immediately die when we meet a wandering monster. We've got a few more things than we really need for one character. Maybe we'll go and sell some stuff in Silvar. And here is the Overworld. Looks pretty nice and big and sprawling, doesn't it? Dovenose to the north, Silvar to the west. Follow the river, and soon enough we come upon a town. Silvar! Now, I've played this game enough that I kinda know where everything is already. Here's an armor shop. Let's sell some extra stuff. Middle-aged woman wearing a huge steel breastplate behind the counter. I'm Anastasia, Ephraim's wife. I deal in armor. You can buy some here if you have the cash, or sell some if you don't. Cool, I will sell. And apparently it lets you sell items that you have equipped, unlike later games in the series. I'm gonna have to buy my armor back. Or maybe I can buy some better armor. Let's see, I am a squishy mage type, so I'm gonna just get some leather armor. I think I heard the munchy sound a little earlier. That means I ate some food. This guy here is the town trainer. You see a big, scarred man. The reddish puckers of his scars stand out starkly against his fishy white skin. I'm Eric Scarhead. First name Mom gave me. Last name I earned for myself. I give people training. Then they can go end up like me. This guy will be a lot more useful after we kill some stuff and gain some experience. Because, yeah, we can actually ask him about training. And seeing as how we have 0 skill points, we can do absolutely nothing. We'll see you later, Eric. Ephraim's weapons. You see, merchant. Behind the counter is a small man with a very big sword. I'm Ephraim. He shifts his weight so his sword turns towards you and smiles. You seem enamored of swords? Ah, that's Demon Slayer. Well, that sounds pretty badass. He grins wildly and slaps his scabbard. This is Demon Slayer. It is an iron greatsword of impressive aspect. Well, I haven't really slain any demons with it. It's the best sword in these parts, but it's not the genuine article. Oh, really? Well, I don't know too much about it, but once a bunch of adventurers and soldiers came down here, got killed off to a man and woman, and one of them, someone told me once, had this amazing demon-slaying sword. That was a while ago. He thinks. Of course, then again, he may just have been jealous of my sword. Guys are like that. Dick jokes. So what do you do around here besides talk about your sword? You can buy or sell weapons here. Don't have much of a stock out here. Hard to get good metal, but we do our best. Let's see what you got. Well, compared to the stone dagger we are holding, just about anything is better. Well, the only good thing that I really have the money for is a bronze short sword. I could try a rapier. We'll go for short sword for now. And I can sell my stone dagger for 0 gold. Well, now that we've gotten ourselves slightly better equipped, I'd like to head south to investigate this Tower of Mages. And also this sign. Murtis is south, don't go east. Okay then. Little special here. A giant natural spring bubbles out of the ground here, feeding the large lake to the south. This is clearly a fertile area. Large, yummy-looking mushrooms grow all over, grazed upon by pallid cave cows. Large, pale fish frolic in the lake. Why, that sounds almost pastoral. Oh, look, a skeleton. And this is the outdoor combat mode. Let's see what sort of spells we have. So, going up to level 3 in Mage and Priest spells on the character creation screen will automatically grant you knowledge of all of those spells. Levels 4, 5, 6, and 7, you can train in those, but you will still need to go out and find the spells and buy each of them. I guess that helps to keep characters from becoming too overpowered in the beginning. But I'm going to show off one of my favorite spells ever, Fireball. So Fireball is a pretty nice area of effect spell. It damages a 3x3 square. Unfortunately, it didn't do as good a job of killing everything as I had hoped. Slightly better. Let's see if third time's the charm, and uh-oh, I'm almost out of spell points. Uh-oh, that cough means I'm almost out of health points. I'd better kill these guys off quick. And there is where the luck skill comes in handy. That second cough, Sally Cat is killed, but you luck out. Luck's an awesome skill. Always worth having at least 1 point in there to save you from certain doom. Alas, poor Sally Cat, slain by a skeleton. Alas, your undeserved exile in the underworld has led you to a grisly and anticlimactic end. Oh well, maybe the next group of poor suckers sent down here can straighten out this mess. That's about enough for today, everyone. Thank you all for watching. See you next time.